Hello, this is Positive Life Enterprise. I am Tom Goodwin. This is Michelle Ronquillo,
Hi, everybody. Welcome back.
and the subject today is spiritual triggers. And
Yes. Oh boy. Triggers everywhere.
yes, there are when people send emotions. I mean, people will say things to try to hit a nerve in you, or they'll try to shake you off, or they'll say something very negative, or negative. I mean, with an attitude and try to hit one of your nerves, your emotional nerves, and
Yeah.
they'll trigger you. And events will trigger you too, like a death or something that's really
Traumatic.
traumatic. Yeah.
It could be a car accident, or it could be a abusive relationship. It could be any trauma that you experience in your waking future as you're healing. You can get triggered by any emotion that comes through.
And a lot of times, if it's an accident, it will set up a trigger. So you'll have an accident or you'll have some kind of violent abuse in the past. And if anybody hit that area of toxicity that remains from that, it will trigger you. And it can mess, it can really affect your ability to keep yourself together and keep connection with reality. And I mean, it can shake you up in such a way that you have a hard time dealing with life.
Yeah, correct. Post traumatic stress, panic disorder, things that agoraphobia, people not wanting to leave their house and deal with reality, panic, when something just goes off in you and your emotions go crazy and you just start to panic. All those things are led from something that has triggered you, either visually or emotionally, maybe a smell. It really there it's endless of what the triggers can be for the individual, because it is personal of what the trigger is representing in the trauma.
It represents sort of vulnerable areas. We have weak areas emotionally. We can be attacked or whatever. We're just not perfect. We're not strong in every way. We have weak areas. Some people have worked on it and have developed a real good balance. So they're very hard to knock off balance and disconnect. They keep well grounded. Being well grounded in reality helps you to keep your balance.
Yes, that's a good point. Grounding is important in these states when you happen to be in a triggered moment. You need to realize that there are tools that can help you. Affirmation, staying in the moment, that's very important.
And it can put you into certain altered states in which your body goes. You go very much into a more spiritual and more intensely spiritual state, but you go so intensely into the spiritual, you lose connection with reality, and that can you can end up getting weakened by it and being in danger. And a lot of times, some people end up in mental hospitals or whatever when they get triggered because they get in such an unusual state. They don't know how to get through it. They get lost in it because people don't understand the spiritual well enough to understand how to deal with um, what you run into when you're in such an intense, deep emotional state caused by trauma. Um, it's just difficult because I mean, if we really understand the spiritual, we would be able to get out of a lot of predicaments that we get into, and the triggering puts us into certain types of spiritual predicaments that we can get lost in because we just don't know the spiritual very well in this spiritually backward world. And I keep saying that over and over again because we are not dealing with the spiritual very well. We're not dealing with the problem, the reality very well. And there's a lot of things that can trigger people because it affects people individually.
Yes, that's right. And those triggers are traumas, and those emotional things need to be looked at. It's important to feel the things that come through. It's important to sit with it and understand and realize that that was then and this is now. And the real now moment is the important fact that will bring you back into the reality state that you need to be in. to handle and understand that those wounds are there to make you stronger, not make you weaker, and not there to let those triggers affect you in a moment of waking and in the reality sense that you're brave enough to go out into public and be around people and try to communicate in a sense of understanding and like-mindedness. And sometimes when you're in that altered state, people can't understand where you're coming from, so they get scared and they run away, and they don't try to understand where you're coming from. But however, some do. And when you are in those altered states of panic and trigger and emotion, you have to breathe, do the techniques that are available, meditation, affirmations, and stay in the moment until it passes.
And one thing is I went through, I put myself under too much pressure because I say I do good under pressure. So I thought put more and more pressure on me doing things that would put more pressure on me in order to try to make things happen. And I wasn't ready to, make a big difference spiritually in this world. So I got myself over my head and I went into these all states. And somehow I managed after quite a while to get out of the state on my own, but it made me very aware that my spiritual program was all messed up, that I didn't have a good enough grip on reality. So a lot of my spiritual theories to try to get connected more were geared towards getting more connected with reality. And then another thing that I faced was my meditative technique did not went strong enough to keep me together and keep that connection with reality. I depend on that too. And I had meditative techniques that I thought were good enough. My meditative walking I thought was good enough. But after that, I had to develop a lot better techniques along with improving my spiritual program and by developing more reality-based spiritual theories. And a lot of the spiritual theories going around, not reality-based, not enough, so that one can develop the grounding needed to be able to handle the stress that one can be under when triggered. Yes. or dealing with a trigger.
Yes, definitely. And you have to have self-confidence in yourself when you're going through these states as well. You're trying to heal, you're coming out of all these traumatic things in your past, and all these triggers are coming at you. And what's important is to just take one at a time and deal with yourself in a sense of compassion, and understand that the things that you went through are for spiritual lessons of your waking future, and how you can spiritually program yourself to be aware of your realities, and how it is, be it bittersweet, and things will always have that type of pain or angst because of what you've dealt with or what you've gone through.
And when you get rid of the toxicity and heal the area that you've been triggered in, you'll still be triggered, except you can do it positively now.
That's right.
In other words, you can respond to the trigger, like somebody triggers you in a direction of abuse or whatever. You can come back and talk about abuse and talk about how you heal from it, or deal with it as a positive issue because you have experience in it. Whatever the trigger is, you dealt with the trigger. Now you have a line of experience that comes with the trigger, that whenever it's triggered, you speak about that area rather than having it adversely affect you. You can actually utilize the trigger to do good things spiritually.
That's right. As a survivor.
Yeah.
As a survivor.
Because the trigger has to do with spiritual energy. So if you get triggered, you can actually send out spiritual energy to handle the situation, along with if there's anybody that needs information related to it, you have wisdom that has come from successfully healing an area that you get triggered by.
That's right. It's very important that in your healing, you're able to share your walks and your experiences of how to deal with the triggers coming and the attacks of self-esteem, self-doubt, self-confidence, all that things needs to be worked at inside of you spiritually to understand that you are the go, you are the motivator, you are the one that needs to understand that in the right now moment you can make this difference by just dealing with your see in the world.
In a lot of my meditative exercises, I had developed a meditative running, which I'm doing now, were geared so I could handle the emotions of the world, no matter how heavy or intense they were, so they would not overwhelm me. And some of the emotions in this world can be very, very strong, and it takes really intense technique to be able to handle the emotions well. And all emotions have a positive side and a negative side to them.
And a fine line.
And it just depends on, whether you're able to deal with them well and steer them in a positive direction or you're not able to. This is Positive Vibes Enterprise. The subject has been spiritual triggers. I hope you enjoyed the subject. Please subscribe.
Yep.
I'm Tom.
Please come back and please say something and let us know what you think of our videos.
I'm Tom Goodwin, and this is Michelle Frontiel
Till
for Positive Enterprise.
Till next time, everybody.